You hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Let's go. Um,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
all right, so we're gonna do now a famous letter of the Alter Rebbe, which is La Skill Chabina, and it talks about it's an overview to be conscious of your faith in the Creator, who is only good and runs creation continuously. That that is the goal, to live in a state of spiritual equilibrium, experiencing all occurrences as only goodness, and transforming apparent negative to positive. It also results in transcendence from material pursuit and constant joy in life. Okay, letter number 11, epistle 11. La Skil Chabina. It's known, this chapter, letter is called La Skil Chabina, the first words. To enlighten you with understanding. Ki lo yizu aderech yishkan Hashem. Not by this path will the light of God dwell within one, within a person. Meaning, liyes chafetz b'chai b'sanim banim b'zeinei. By desiring the life of flesh and children and sustenance. If your goal is the pursuit of material happiness, even valid things like children and health, but if that is your motivating, um, you know, pull, that's not how the light of God will dwell in you. For on this our sage of blessed memory said, nullify your will out of deference to his will. Batel ritzoncha. What does it mean? What does it mean to negate your human drives? This means not that one should set aside his own will because it does not coincide with God's will. It means that his will should be nullified and have no desire at all in worldly matters. Hanechlolim, which are the general categories of bonei chayim mizoinei, children, life, and sustenance. People desire family, they want health, life, and livelihood. Ukimaim Razal, as the rabbis said, Shal korchacha tachai. You should almost be forced to deal with your physical life. By force, you were born. You didn't choose to be born, to be alive. In other words, that you should desire. That should not be your concern. The material should not be your concern. Your concern should be something else. We didn't say what it is. To clarify the matter, how can you? Obviously, it's going to say the concern should be God. Your whole meaning and goal in life is to live with oneness of God, and not to be the primary goal about material benefit, even healthy material benefit. How is that possible? To clarify this matter, this can be achieved only when there is an absolute belief in the Yotzer Bereshit, the creator of the Genesis. What does that mean? That you believe with total faith of the creation of yesh, whatever exists, is ma'ayin, comes from what we call nothingness, which is also called in the term Reshit Chachma. You should look at everything so the term Yesh Ma'ayin, which translates as something from nothing, and if you want to be fancy, you use the Latin term ex nihilo. But what it really means is not we're something that we come from nothing. Well, God's nothing. So what it really means is that it's incomprehensible. We see our something, our existence, as coming from somewhere incomprehensible. So Yesh Ma'ayin thus describes the creation of something that comes into existence from the ayin of Chachma, from the nothingness, the incomprehensibility of Chachma. Chachma is the first of the 10 Sefirot. There's the building blocks of existence. Chachma is the first of the Sefirot. In other words, everything, what's Chachma? It's loving kindness. All creation, although there's other aspects of, tzimtzum and harmony and whatnot, it's ultimately chesed. It's ultimately, not chesed. Take it back. Before chesed. It's ultimately chachma, which is the original nucleus of existence. It's the first dot of existence. So we see the beginning of chachma, the first dot of existence, is that's the beginning of what we call an existence out of the nothingness, out of the incomprehensible, murky transcendence. The divine sphere of Chachma, next page, which is not apprehensible to any created being, because this whole supreme wisdom, the Chachma of God, that creates the something, the existence out of incomprehensible nothingness that we can't fathom, this creation occurs at every time and moment, at which all created beings come into being, yesh ma'ayin, something from nothing. Meaning, and I learned this recently, about a few months ago, in part of a course I did. But going slow is very interesting. As I'm teaching him, I'm realizing things. And that is, there is a mystery in every moment, because existence is not logical. Existence is a miracle. Because it starts, as we know it, this finite existence had to come from somewhere. Or it's that somewhere. It's somewhere beyond our existence. It's somewhere incomprehensible. Furthermore, that's not a one-time thing. That's every moment. Chassidus says this is the Baal Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe explain, it's a constant miracle. It's a constant impossibility. The existence we know is being created from somewhere incomprehensible every moment. All created beings are created every moment through God's wisdom, which animates everything. This was what we talked about in Shar Yichud V'Emunah, the constant, the continuous creation doctrine. Now, when a man will contemplate in the depths of his understanding, and will moreover picture in his mind how he comes to being extant at every single moment, you realize that every moment you are a miracle. You're an unlikely possibility, or a non-expected miracle that you exist, then how can you entertain the thought that the same God that is at every moment deliberately vivifying, creating you into existence from something beyond limited existence, how can you entertain that you would be, there's bad to you? Or that he has any afflictions related to children life and sustenance, or whatever other worldly sufferings. For the ayin, which is God's chacham, is the source of life, goodness, and delight. Again, the terms are very important because they are signals for concepts. Yesh ma'ayin, we are something created from an incomprehensible, how do you call it? Beyond, murkiness. That incomprehensible nothingness, that great, how about this? The great beyond. The incomprehensible beyond we come from. That's called ayin. It's called nothingness because we can't relate to it. But it's real. It's the most real. That is God's wisdom. That's the same thing as saying the chachma of Hashem. I have to look more into this because it's a little bit confusing. We said the Garden of Eden. In Kabbalah and Chassidus talks about the garden is already a reality. And says that the river flowed from Eden to water the Garden of Eden. So there's this Eden is this like source of reality, which is above even a perfect reality like paradise. This source called Eden is what we call, again, the incomprehensible great beyond, the ayin. That's the source of everything, of all goodness and all existence. Except, next page, that it is not apprehensible, it's not comprehensible, right? That was the key term you should know is that when we say something from nothing, it's not that God's nothing, it's saying it's incomprehensible. It's a different plane of great beyond. Yet that great beyond, that incomprehensible source of the great beyond, which is the source of life, is deliberately giving you life and your needs. So even when there's a lacking of your needs, it's still being created from the great beyond. So it appears bad. It appears that there's a tremendous lacking because you get, the parameters, the logical parameters of existence and needs. But that doesn't start there. It comes from a place beyond logic, an incomprehensible great beyond. So sometimes when the great beyond, the ayin, is giving you a lot in life, it appears bad with your mortal, limited understanding. Or suffering even. In truth, however, no evil descends from above, and everything is good. Though it is not apprehended as such because of its immense and abundant goodness, at a level which is inconceivable to man. This is, where elsewhere the Alter Rebbe talks about the famous Talmudic sage Nachum Ish Gamzu. Gamzu Lataiva. Even when something was bad, he said it's good. It wasn't saying that it will be good. Right now it's good because he had all the sages of the Talmud weren't just brilliant, they were mystics. This is a very basic belief. So when they say us teaching, it's almost they have like a sixth sense as well, besides being geniuses. And he had this sixth sense of that, yeah, it looks bad, but if it's coming from God right now, from a incomprehensible source, then it doesn't have to make sense for it to be good. It's got to be good if it's coming from into existence. It just appears as bad. So it's actually, we now see, you have to go very slow in Tanya because big ideas and very shorthand language. We flipped it on its head. We thought good is good and bad, whatever, maybe it'll lead to good. No. Good is nice, and what we see as bad actually is a more unadulterated form of the source material, of the great incomprehensible beyond. So bad is actually a higher form of good. It's too unadulterated for us to appreciate. It might take a lifetime or many lifetimes for that to come to the fore. And this is the essence, or it might take a minute or a day or a week. It might take time, even beyond life. But it doesn't take away from the logic that if God is creator at every moment, it's got to be good. Why does it look not good? Because it's incomprehensible. The fact that it's incomprehensible doesn't take away that it's coming from God. And on the contrary, perhaps that is a more pure, God incomprehensible level of good. This is the essence of the faith for which man was created. This is not just a trick how to get through the tough times of life. This is the essence for which man was created. To believe that there is no place void of him. That God is everywhere, in the light of the King's countenance there is life. And accordingly strength and gladness are in his place. If God is creating everything at every time and therefore is everywhere, God is there. And if God, the source of life, is there, it has to be good, even if it feels not good. Because he is but good all the time. Tomorrow we'll continue with, the Alter Rebbe is going to expect from his followers, his students, that they should live with this in a very real way, to always be joyful, despite the challenges they encounter in life.